first thing, writing for effect. The first chapter is business etiquette and need for the effect. So now, when you are writing something, so we are talking about not talking to people, we are talking about writing to people. Now, uh, writing can be you write letters to people, you might write emails, you might write an official letter, you might write a letter to the bank saying that this is your requirement. You might write a letter to your boss. You might write a letter to different people, your peers, a boss, a person from another company. You might request for a job uh, for a to a company. There also you are writing a letter. So every place there is writing letter. Writing letter is important. So what do you require when you write a letter? What you require is main thing is clarity. Primary business within a business primarily it requires clarity. So one more thing is don't make it like along with clarity, don't make it too long. It should be quick. Whatever you want to say in the letter, you're asking for a job, it should be quick. Like, don't tell one story that I have done this much, I have worked in that company, I took 4 years I worked, I did this work, then I did that work. And don't tell all that story. So go be quick, give me an opportunity because I have this much of experience. So it is communicated, it's clear, and it also has to be accurate. So what we'll be seeing as we go is how to achieve all this. What are the strategies to achieve all this? Uh, so then one more thing is courtesy, some kind of kindness to the person who you are talking to or to whom you are communicating. There should be some kind of kindness. So that's very important for a good working relationship. So it should be planned. There should be clarity. And okay, mostly your communications will be email messages, letters, and uh, such other official communication. Okay. So now, what is the use of writing letter? Uh, Now, what is etiquette? Here it says business etiquette. Etiquette means manners. We have come across this word before also. Etiquette is manners. So, in writing, now uh, when you write a letter, you may be uh, changing the mind of the reader, or you may be forcing that reader to accept an unfavorable decision. See, there are times where we write a letter, we write a mail saying that I will not be able to come, I will not be able to do this. But if you directly say, I cannot do it, you find someone else. So that's a wrong way of saying. It might hurt the people on the opposite side and there won't be goodwill. Okay. So whenever, even if you persuade or even if you force a reader to accept an unfavorable decision, there should be techniques, and that this will not hurt, this will not spoil the goodwill of the reader. Okay. So even for applying a job, you can use writing techniques, so that will tell about your qualification. And even if you want to convey a bad news also, the the way you talk will uh, hide the negative parts, or will at least cover the negative parts to some extent. So uh, that's the effect of communication. So that is what we are learning. We are going to learn effect of communication. So this kind of effect, if you want to get, if you want to see that the opposite person to whom you are referring to whom you are writing the letter, should not lose the good relationship with you. So it is mainly because of skillful writing and understanding how people respond to words. Okay, the following you can see there are a lot of these attitudes and techniques that is given to explain to you. So we'll start. I think okay before this, why do you need to do the communication? So it is for the goodwill and it is for profitable for the business. So we sometimes you need to persuade to sell or to make the accept. So next we'll see what are the um different techniques for achieving this goodwill. So first thing is conversational style. Now, what is the meaning of conversational style? When I write a letter, my way of writing is different. When I talk to a person, when I talk to, maybe you may be talking to your boss, you may be talking to your friend, you may be talking to the boss's boss. Okay, there are different kinds of people we are talking to. So, but we are not talking in the conversational style. Or when we are writing a letter, generally we use certain words like this is to bring it to your notice. So there are certain words that we use. So we don't use the conversational style. What we are trying to tell in this particular topic is, if you use conversational style, if you use conversational style, remove the old language of business. I'll show you which is what they refer to as old language of business. So if you remove the old language of business and rubber stamps also, I'll just show what they are. So if you use the language that we normally talk to each other, so that kind of language, if we use, it has a favorable effect. So why it has a favorable effect? Because it's natural. So I'm not putting any emphasis or any wrong or artificial uh, emphasis on it. I'm just being natural. Okay, I'm warm, being natural. So conversational language has a favorable effect. While write messages in conversational style. So this is one technique. This is one technique of retaining the goodwill, or to improve the goodwill among the others. So, what we need to get the conversational style, we should resist, or we should stop the tendency to do too formal. So it requires to avoid, so old language, what was in the old language, or what even we write right now, or these days also we write thanking you in advance. This is something we write in a letter, saying we ask for something and say thanking you in advance. Then we say please be advised. Okay, and this is to inform, and then in accordance with. So these are called, this is to inform, in accordance with. These are the uh, words that we keep using. Uh, these are That's why these are called as rubber stamp. So we decide, like, if I want to give an information, if I want to say that something, I use this one. If I want to refer to some letter, I use this one. So these are called rubber stamps. We are not bothered about the other person. We just use these rubber stamps. So these are called as rubber stamps. And now, how do you get rid of this old business language, thanking you in advance, and rubber stamps? So to get rid of these two things, we use the conversational style. Conversational style is a style that we talk. So we'll see some examples of these conversational style. So conversational style. No, the other one, it's supposed to be stiff and dull. So what we use, like enclosed here with the brochure. So enclosed is the brochure you asked about. So here we are like making is a brochure about which you make inquiry. All that, like, for very formal statements we are writing. But here you are just being very casual. So this is what is called as conversational style. This is like I am talking to you, you are talking to me. You are not looking at those formal conversations. So this also is the same thing. Reference is made to your May 7 email in which you describe the approved procedure for initiating a claim. So this kind of uh, a statement can be also be written very casually like this. Please refer to May 7 email in which you tell how to file a claim. Okay, that's it. Like, this is like so formal, and this is a very casual. So this kind of statement is called as a conversational statement. I shall be more pleased to avail myself of your kind suggestion when and if prices decline. I'll gladly follow your suggestion if the price falls. So these are some of the same. These are some of the, what do you call, the old language. So these are all the old language, and it's supposed to be, I mean, it looks like it is stiff and it is dull. Again, like the opposite person to whom you're talking, to whom you're not talking, to whom you're writing the letter, that person may think this person is just being very formal. He's using the old conversation style. But when you use these kind of things, he might, the opposite person might feel, okay, you're being nice, you're being like casual, you're trying to be normal. Okay, so this kind of things will improve the goodwill, is the first thing. This is the first point about improving the goodwill. So one more was remove the rubber stamp. So rubber stamps. Now, what is a rubber stamp? Is these are some of the this I think these statements you have seen it uh, many times. As good as gold, a blessing in disguise. Uh, Last but not the least, learning the ropes. Even now, we use it without any hesitation. We use it. But what they're saying is that when you use these rubber stamps, that is, these are the statements. When you use, the person who reads it thinks that you might not be uh, genuine. You, the opposite person will think that you are being artificial. So instead of that, go for the conversational kind of language. So this conversational language is one technique to retain the goodwill among the business. Okay. So next, what? Okay. So some more examples of this is the rubber stamp. Hoping this meets you with your approval. I hope you approve. See, like this is so formal. Hoping this meets with your approval. It's like so formal. And here also, kindly advise at an early date. Kindly advise. So please let me know soon. And I deem, so these are some of the examples. I deem it advisable. I suggest. So by the time the person reads it and thinks about it, okay, like here, this is very cool. Then here, I herewith hand you. So here it is. Here is it. So undersigned wishes to advise a forementioned contract is at hand. So such a long statement with all those undersigned, forementioned, all those big words that we are used to. Casual statement is like. So this friendly and conversational statement can make things a more goodwill, can make the goodwill to improve. So that was the first topic, or so we were talking about how to achieve the goodwill effects. So you need to follow the first advices conversational style. So we finished with the conversational style. So we need to remove the old tendency, old language tendency, and then rubber stamps and talk coolly. So that is the first point. Okay, is the first point clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, we'll go to the next point. You point. So when we use you, it says it improves goodwill and it will influence the people favorably. People will be happy with you. Uh, so it will also make the reader being more interested in you. So instead of telling we, our, so you should say you are. So if your letter says, your email or any formal letter, if it says, if you say you and your, the emphasis is more. And if you say we and our, the emphasis is not more, it's less. So when you say you will be the center. And when I say you are the one, or you have to pay the penalty. You have won the match, or you have. So when you say you, the everything is, the focus is on you. But when we say same thing, like you must pay penalty, we are trying to say something, we can protect your investment. So actually they are trying to say you have to pay penalty, but we can. So this is the same thing. It relates to this, but it is same. It's in a different way. We can protect your investment. You don't. I mean, when you if you pay the penalty, but this will have a better uh, emphasis. When you say you, it will have a better emphasis. Uh, so one more statement here you can say is you will be happy to know. So this is one statement. The same thing, this you will be happy to know that you are selected if it is a statement. So then there is another statement. I am happy to report that you are selected. Okay, so here you will be happy to know that statement gives more emphasis than I am happy to report that you are selected. So this is what is called as emphasize on the you view. So whenever you are talking uh, to another person, use that you. But later, some people might find that it may be insincere if you are going on saying you did this, you did that, you had to do this. So see that you use that word you carefully and be sincere. So here are some examples of how you is better than we. The first one says, we cannot comply with your request to use our staff on your project. So this is like bad news. We cannot we cannot confirm your request, or we cannot listen to your request. Is what this is bad news. But you can say the same thing using you. You will understand why we must limit our staff to work in our office. So the same statement you can write it like this. So again, this you is uh, the center of attraction or what you can say. So when you say you to a person, the person feels important. Okay, that's the same. This point is about bad news, and these are similar other statements. This is actually not any bad news. So what we see is we received your report on May 1st. Thank you for your report on May 1st. So instead of this statement gives a more emphasis for the person who you are talking to. Similarly, we ship 2 dozen cross desk sets you ordered. So your 2 dozen cross desk sets should reach you. So you can see these kind of statements even when you order for something, your order, your order has been delivered, your order is being shipped. So when they say to you, when your Amazon or Big Basket or something tells your order is ready, your when you say uh, instead of saying your order is ready, they had said we have shipped your order. So that doesn't give us the importance. So when you say your order is ready, that gives us the importance. We become the center in this place. So uh, we are happy to have your order for HP products. So your selection of HP products should reach you shortly. So these are the different ways of writing the same statement. So this is about the U viewpoint, and this U viewpoint has a small controversy. So what is the controversy? So always U is not the right word to be used. So it 2 points are there. So it may be insincere and it may be manipulative. So but actually people are not happy to use. Some people are not happy to use you. Not all of them, but there are researches done in this area which says that it you is a good way of using the statement. So now what you need to do is when you're using you, so you use it when it is friendly, when it is sincere. Okay, don't use it for very negative statements. See that you when you yourself can understand when you're using you are you uh, affecting negatively the person in the opposite side. So when you are if you are using you to hurt the person on the opposite side, then don't use it. So use it when there is a friendly approach, when there is since when your goals are ethical, so uh, when you think this is the right time, I can use you. That time only you can use. That time you can use you. Okay, so this is a very small controversy with you. And okay, this is I think about the topic of you viewpoint. So this is another technique for improving the goodwill. Okay, between business people, between you and the opposite person. Okay, so the next one is accent, accent on positive language. Uh, now, so far, so two techniques we saw to improve the goodwill. So next, the third technique we are seeing is now positive language to achieve goodwill and other desired effects. So you should know what is the positive language, what is the negative language. So what we are doing here is we are having a statement called we cannot deliver until Friday. So that means if today it is Monday, you won't get delivery today, you won't get delivery Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You will not get any of these days, you will not get the delivery. Your uh, delivery is only coming on Friday. So we cannot deliver until Friday. So there is like a not, we are not happy to listen to this statement. We cannot, that cannot is coming. But the same meaning this statement conveys. We can deliver on Friday. Okay, we can deliver Friday. So that means there is no negative. The effect of both the statements are same. Okay, but there is no negativity in this statement. In this, there is a negativity. So when you hear something negative, again, not it is not pleasant. It is not helping us. So we might develop a negative attitude towards maybe that the big basket or something else, say something like this. You may not like to order from their place again. You might think again before ordering from such a place who uses such negative words. Okay, so see that you use positive words. Negative words is unpleasant meaning. Positive words have pleasant meaning. So see what your goal is and accordingly use your positive and negative words. So positive words are usually for message goals, especially when you want to persuade somebody and when there is a goodwill needed. So what will happen if you use negative words? It will hurt the goodwill. So the business relationship will suffer. Okay, to reach your writing goals, you need to study carefully the negativeness and positiveness of your words. So so don't use these kind of negative words. It is your mistake. What is your problem? So those kind of words are strong negative words. Even this thing, no, I cannot do it. You do not go with that person. Using of these no, do not. Okay, let me see your guts. Okay, I mean these kind of itch, sloppy. So these you should be careful when you're going to use these kind of words. You should be really very careful and then only use. Especially these are the okay when you are talking to a person. If is your friend, you can talk anything. That's what we say. But these are the business letters. These are the letters you write to people. Writing these words should be carefully used. Okay. So next, this is the example of negative and positive word. So we regret to inform you that we cannot permit you to use our auditorium for a meeting. So initially you can see the word regret. When you write this in a letter, we regret. That regret is a very hurting word when the person reads. So that means you are saying, okay, you are going to tell me some bad news. And again, cannot permit is again a bad news. So you are hurting the person who is reading your letter, to whom you are trying to tell this, the reader, the one who reads your letter. So the same thing could have written. in a different way. Although the auditorium is busy, we cannot offer you your conference room. Okay, sorry. Although the auditorium is busy, so this was about the auditorium, cannot use the auditorium. We can offer you our conference room. So they are offering a different conference room with some capacity. So this is a way, this avoid this kind of statement and tell this kind of statement. So this is how you choose the words. Don't choose these kind of words. Like regret, cannot commit. So don't use these kind of words. So some more examples of positive and negative. So negative says you failed to give us a fabric specification. So here you are in positive, the same thing, you are saying it in a different way. Will you please check the choice of fabric? And similarly, we regret to inform that we must deny your request for credit. So here they're not allowing us credit. So we regret is what it says. So for the time being, we can serve you on cash basis only. So this is when you hear this sentence, it is we are not able to do something. It's hurting. But here it is also hurting, but still there's some solace or some positive thing that okay, you can pay it by cash also. That kind of. So this is another kind of statement. So your May 7 complaint about our remote control is not supported by the evidences. Uh, so you review. So this kind of your complaint is not supported. So the complaint you gave is wrong. Is what this is trying to say. So, but here you're saying please review the situation. Just go back and review if your what you said is even see when you write a letter or when you write in your when you chat with your customer care, you can see how the customer care answers you. The customer care is very rarely negative. We regret, very sorry, and all that. So, like all that they use, you can see those words. So, why they use such kind of words, I think now you would have understood. So, you were wrong in your conclusion. So, you cannot directly say you didn't go through the paragraph 3 of our agreement. You are wrong in your conclusion. So, you can simply say, please read paragraph 3 of our agreement. So these are some of the examples of showing the negativity and positivity in a business, in an organization. You should be very careful about how you use your words. Okay, so this was about uh, the third technique, I think so. Yeah, third technique, positive language. So how to improve the goodwill? So one more technique is positive language. So this was about the effect of communication, effect of business communication, business etiquette. So this is business manners. All this what you saw so far, all this is about business manners.